Hey guys, God bless you all. Before I get into this live, I just want to say God is great. Church was amazing today. A really, really powerful message from Pastor Michael. And at the end of the service, I decided to call up my old school, the director, and asked if I could lead a Bible study for high school students, voluntary. And he's going to let me know tomorrow if that's possible. So that'll be amazing if I can go back to my old school and teach Bible study. Again, completely voluntary. So please pray for me. I really hope this happens. It's a way to get me back in the school because the kids want me back there. I just don't want to commit to a full-time job. So if I can get in there and help and preach the gospel to a generation that really needs it, that'll be awesome. I'm not going to say anything about the Catholic Church. There's no need. I know that that school is Catholic. I don't have to hammer the Catholic Church to preach the word of Jesus Christ. So please wish me luck for that, please. And for all of you emailing me about Twitter, please come back on Twitter, please. I will eventually. I just need a break from it. It's been great not going on it. Because with Twitter, every time something happens, I want to share it with everybody. And the amount of things I predict, it just means I'm sharing so much. Now I can just take a break from Twitter, and it's already helping me. So much love to you all. Hope you're all well. Thanks to the new people on my website who signed up today. Appreciate you. And I'm going to break down these numbers. I really do believe World War III is going to be announced very soon. I don't believe we should have any fear because God's in control. God is sovereign. But I just want to show you what I see from the code. Again, I don't know when World War III is going to officially be announced, but everything in the world of sports tells me it's very soon. Just like everything in the world of sports for months and months told me Elizabeth was dying, the Queen. And then she went, didn't she? So God bless you, brother in Christ. God bless you too, Daco. 1221. So I'll start with a few games from yesterday and I'll go into today's games. I'll show you the power of this code and how coded our reality truly is. So, hey, Karen Davidson, much love to you. So I'll start with Arsenal and I'll try and break down all the games as much as I can without just reading the code. I'll read the code, then I'll tell you what happened. So Arsenal yesterday, they played Burnley. And Burnley is the favourite team of King Charles III. Makes zero sense, but they are, if you research it. And Arsenal won this game 3-1. Another game that became 1-1 and eventually finished 3-1. But Arsenal won it. They're now third in the league. And this was my code. Again, people can say Arsenal are going to beat Burnley. It's fine. Like, anyone can do that. We know that. Anyone can do that. Pretty much anyone who placed an accumulator or parlay would have taken Arsenal. It's just knowing why they won and then seeing the numbers in play when it is 1-1, knowing Arsenal are probably going to get a winning goal here. So this was the code. Okay. Arsenal versus Burnley. Interesting, it has Burn in its name. Burn. And honestly, Revelation 9:11 is about the bottomless pit and Abaddon. You know, in hell you burn. So Burnley versus Arsenal. The game is on 11/11. And it's on the anniversary of World War II ending. It was the 105-year anniversary. And Declan Rice is Arsenal's record signing. 105 million. The game was an 11 dating emoji. So again, the game was 1-1 at one point. But this bit was the bit that made me go, wow. So I want to show you here how deep this is. I'm going to show you why Arsenal played Burnley yesterday. Not just showed you why they won or why it was 3-1, the 11th prime, but why they actually met yesterday. This is how deep it is. So they last met 1 year, 9 months, and 19 days ago, 1919. Now, Remembrance Day, which honours all the soldiers that lost their life during World War I, that's honoured on 11/11. And it first became established in 1919. Now, in gematria, Queen equals 19. She got her first vaccination for COVID-19 on 1/9, January the 9th. I said Trossard wears number 19 for Arsenal. He literally opened the scoring and he assisted the second goal. This is Trossard. He's a decent enough player, but it looks like he hasn't slept in 75 years. He looks like a zombie, does that Trossard. Something off with Trossard. I've said it for a while now. Something not quite right about that guy. So Trossard opened the score, and I was like, that's amazing for Arsenal. And sometimes I see those numbers play out, and there's a part of me, come on, Burnley, score. Because they pretty much told me who's winning now, just with that 19. I was like, and if they don't score, it's like, all right, Arsenal just smash them then. So 19 is the 8th prime, and Arsenal can get their 8th league win. We know the captain's Odegaard, number 8. As far as I'm aware, he's injured. I don't think he played. So on 11-11, Burnley with a loss can stay on 1 win and 1 draw. Like 11. Arsenal can stay on 3 draws and 1 loss, and 31 is the 11th prime. This is pre-game. Then the game finished 3-1. So you hear the 11s, the 31s, it finished 3-1. Thomas Lockwood off my website took 3-1 because of this code. Well done. Oh, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Thomas Lockwood and Patrick. Both of them bet on a golfer at 100-1. And he won. Colombian golfer, Villegas. 100-1. Again, not in this for money. I don't bet, but for them, great stuff. Arsenal are heavily connected to the royal family. And with a win, they will become 8-3-1 for the season in the league. Princess Diana died on 8-3-1. And she was married to Charles, who supports Burnley. And Queen Elizabeth II and her mother supported Arsenal. So how crazy is that? The Saudi prince as well, he was born on 8-3-1, which I'll tell you why Salah scored today, the Egyptian king. Remember Diana's boyfriend at the time, she was having an affair with an Egyptian, Dodi fired. Arsenal can get their 56th win versus Burnley. 5 + 6 is 11. King Charles III was coronated on 5-6. Royal family equals 56. So if you see today, Cole Palmer equalised in dying minutes of the game, guys. All this injury time as well. Like, obviously, you get a lot of injuries through war. Zinchenko, by the way, scored to make it 3-1. Did that on Remembrance Day, and Ukraine is currently at war. After 74 minutes, Charles was coronated at age 74. How deep is this? Like, it will never bore me, I don't think. I don't think I'll ever be able to bore me with the connections that I make and other people. God bless you all if you have the gift to do this. So how wild is that? So that Cole Palmer, he was born on 5-6. King Charles was coronated on Cole Palmer's birthday. That's why Cole Palmer started the season with City so well, all right, before going to Chelsea. It still makes absolutely zero sense to me why Man City got rid of Cole Palmer. It also makes zero sense to me why Gundogan left Man City after he won the treble. He captained them, and Guardiola loves him. Why he would leave to Barcelona? It made no sense to me. Good morning, Birdie Bear. Riddler, God bless you, my brother. Karen's praying for me for this opportunity. Again, I told the director, I said, I really hope we can make this happen. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If not, I will go around every school, whether it's a private school or public school. How are they going to turn down an English guy who's going to preach the Bible unless they're really against it? Who's going to do it for free? But I want to do it at that school because I'm most connected to that school. I know all the students and I know they respect me, so I don't have to earn the respect like I would at a new school. Hey, Adam, hope all is well tuned in now. Also liking the beard growth. I think I'm just going to grow it out. As long as I keep this clean, okay, keep this clean and under here, which I need to do a better job, I'm going to keep the beard. It's when I'm like this, people say I should play ice hockey. I do look like an ice hockey player when I grow out the beard for sure. I'm a 100% believer of Jesus now, saying it again. Thanks, Adam, for saving my life. Thank Jesus. He's the savior, not me. But that's amazing, Noel. I got many goosebumps today at church. Powerful, powerful messages. Pastor Michael is so incredible with his preaching. He has the Holy Spirit within him. When you find those people, you want to be around them as often as you can. He goes to Bible study on Thursday. I told you last Bible study, they asked me to close out the prayer, which is like an honor. It felt amazing. Just closing out a prayer and just speaking from your heart, letting God guide you. And he was actually speaking today, Pastor Michael, about like the dying church. And he said when he was younger, he used to go to churches because his family made him go. And they'd sing like 2 songs, but there was no heart and soul to the performances. And then literally the pastor would just open up his Bible, read a couple of verses, and then that was it. What he does, he speaks from his heart. He knows scripture. He doesn't have to read from the book. He just knows it. It's just amazing. I want to be able to do that. I think I'm getting there. Nowhere near his level. He's been doing it like 50 years. He told me his story, guys. It's from the US. He owned his own dentistry. He had 4,400 clients. He was a millionaire, and he gave it up to set up a church in Mexico. He said God guided him. Gave up a crazy amount of money because he knew he had a calling. When you have a calling, you know. That's why it's one of the reasons why I called the school today. I was like, I need to be doing more with this gift. I have a crazy gift for preaching the word of God. I can't just do it on YouTube. I need to do a better job of preaching the word of God to people's faces now, not just online. But again, Noel's a great example of somebody who God's found him. And look how delighted Noel is. He realizes the gift, the free gift of salvation. So Cole Palmer was a squad player at City. Yeah, well, he's behind Haaland, isn't he? So I'll go to that game in a moment. He was basically second striker to Haaland. For me, Alvarez is more of a winger. Bernardo Silva is more of a winger. So if Haaland got injured, Cole Palmer was coming in. If Haaland needed a rest, Cole Palmer was coming in. Like, they never got rid of Phil Foden, did they? That's my logic. Phil Foden, again, remarkable footballer. But he had David Silva ahead of him. But he was patient. All right? Maybe David Silva obviously is older than Haaland. But with how volatile the market is in professional sports, if I was Cole Palmer, I've just won the treble, I'd stay at City for at least a couple more seasons. He's so young. You're being coached by the greatest coach of all time, arguably. Just stay there, win your trophies. You're going to get minutes. You started the season really well, but I know why he's gone there. I know all of his numbers connect to Chelsea. Like, for example, today, the game finished 4-4. I was at church, so I couldn't really let anybody know where I thought the game was going. But it was a hard game to call. I said on my website today, one of these teams will not win. I had Liverpool to win and Salah to score. He did. I said, Villa or Man City, one of them are not winning. Villa won, 3-1. So it came to City. And they went down. I think they went down. Oh, no, they went up, didn't they? Haaland scored. I said Haaland would score, but he scores practically every game. And then I think Silva scored. Remember, Jesus was sold for 30 pieces of silver. Thiago Silva, one of the best defenders ever. David Silva, one of the best midfielders ever. Bernardo Silva's one of the best modern-day midfielders. Silva. And remember, Phil Foden replaced David Silva, and Phil Foden wears number 47. The atomic number for Silva is 47, which is deep. Yeah, +44 is the UK dialing code. But Cole Palmer's now scored 4 out of 4 penalties for Chelsea. 4 out of 4 to make the game 4-4. I think it connects to the 4 horsemen. To be honest, I think the 4s are about the 4 horsemen. Remember, Queen Elizabeth's Jubilee was 4 days, which is 96 hours. Another reason why I was like, she has to be dying at 96 this year. The Jubilee's 96 hours, like 4 days, 4 children that she had with Philip. So yeah, Cole Palmer for me is like, okay, he's a young lad. He wasn't Man City's penalty taker. It was Haaland or Gundogan, because they kept changing it last season, if you noticed. They'd have Gundogan, Haaland, Mahrez. Like, for me, I've always said this, you give your striker the penalties. But Cole Palmer, yes, he is a striker, but he's just come, he's not really proven himself to then take penalties for a team that won the Champions League a couple of years ago. Just straight on penalties. And I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, good on him, young lad, just wants to score goals. It's very easy to say that. It's all by a code, guys. Again, like I said, Cole Palmer, his recent birthday was when King Charles was coronated. There's no accidents with this code. Adam Cole Palmer connected to Palm Sunday. Oh, that's a good insight. Jackson should be taking penalties. Jackson actually wears number 15. Hey, Eric, he's number 15. War equals 15. He started to score. He scored 4 in his last 2, yeah? He got a hat-trick against Spurs. Scored today against City. That means they've got 4 points in the last 2 games. Jackson's got 4 goals in his last 2 games. So that Arsenal code was really, really strong. Like, I was supremely confident. Again, it was one of those games where I'm like, if Arsenal go down, you take them. I coded Barcelona today. I think it's one of my cleanest ever codes. I was speaking to my brother Lockwood. I said, I don't often do this because I don't like doing this. I said, when Barcelona score, you're going to see who wins this game. He's like, I didn't say if. I usually say if, because who am I to say when? I was just adamant. I said, when Barcelona score, just watch the odds. So Barcelona became plus 170. They were down 1-0 for 53 minutes against Alaves. And I coded Lewandowski to score. I'll read the code out later. And he scored 2. But as soon as number 9 made it 1-1, 9-11, again, I knew then. I didn't know, but I was almost certain Barcelona come back and win this game because of the code I did. A guy on my website today bet $1,900 on the Colts to win. Thankfully for him, they won. They became 5-5. 55 is the 10th Fibonacci and triangular number, and it's week 10 of the NFL. Brady won Super Bowl 55. In his 10th Super Bowl, he won the majority of his Super Bowls with the Patriots. The Colts beat the Patriots in Germany. It's all war, guys. Again, Brady, 199th pick, 46 prime. World War I was 4 years. World War II was 6. Salah got his 199th goal today and his 200th. Wait till you hear that code. Cole Palmer's a right winger. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so Jackson should, for me, be on penalties. And that, didn't they pay big money for Jackson? Again, I don't really keep up to date with transfers anymore. I think they paid big money, no? Maybe not. Hi, Illusion, new to the chat, but been loving your videos for a few months now, in awe of your gift. Thank you, Lizard Loving. All glory to God for my gift. I don't deserve this gift. I still have moments where I'm like, how do you do this? And then I realize it's not me most of the time. So what I know is prior to having this gift for seeing numbers and reciting them and making connections, I always had a gift for playing sports. And I was really, really good at predicting them before any of this. the code. Just had a knack for saying who was going to win. But it was luck back then. It was no gift, really. It was just luck. Now I really break down who's going to win, why they're going to win, who's going to score, why they're going to score, why both teams will probably score. Again, I don't bet on this. I think it would take away a lot of my gift if I did do that. I think it'd take a lot of my energy. And I think I've been called away from the gambling part. But did Chelsea go 4-4-4? Right, I'm going to tell you. Yeah, and they've got 16 goals against. 4 times 4, 16. And they've got 16 points. Oh, my word. So City will still be top of the league, yeah. Notice that they have 9 wins and 2 losses. World War II ended on 9-2. Wow, that's just hit me. Man City are 9-1-2. And World War II was from 9-1. And it ended on 9-2. 6 years later. And my mate told me this. I think it was Lockwood again. Speak to him a lot on a Sunday. He said there was 8 minutes added time, 4 + 4. Is that correct? Or was it 8 minutes added time? He said 4 + 4 is 8. What I said to him is like, he said Rodri's just scored. Rodri always scores big goals. And he does. Scored the winning goal in the Champions League final. He gets big goals, Rodri. And I was like, he wears number 16. He's got Man City's 4th goal. The square root of 16 is 4. Now 4 times 4 is 16. I would have been all over. I didn't code this game. I'd have been all over cashing out on City as soon as they went up 4-3 when number 16 scored 4 times 4. All over it. And then it's something I've really taught people. Guys, if you took City for whatever reason, I don't know, you felt they were going to win, or I don't know, the best team in the world. As soon as they're up 4-3, when did they score? 86 minutes, was it? Why just take your money? It's probably 90% cash out. You have to realize that there's late goals, that it's not about ability. That game could have finished 6-5 and the average fan wouldn't have said anything. There could have been another 3 or 4 goals after it being 4-4. That's just how lost people have become with professional sports. They don't question. They don't question it anymore. It's sad, to be honest. What's your most high odds decoding? I remember the Olympics. I think I coded about 7 futures. I got the men and women's golf correct before the tournament began. For me, it's probably the Bucks to win the Super Bowl before the season began. That was the most money I've ever won. Like a lot of money. But I've done some. I don't know. For me, it's in play more. I've had teams like be 60-1 in play and win. Like crazy odds and win. Like actually pre-game, what's the most you can get pre-game? Maybe a 9-1, a 10-1 somewhere that I've got. But for me, that's not how you bet. You don't bet pre-game. I got everything right on Saturday. 5 out of 5, I think. Today in football, I had Salah to score, Liverpool to win, Lewandowski to score, Barca to win. My NFL game is the Ravens right now. I don't know what score it is. They're winning 24-9. But again, you just don't know. You don't know. Ravens are up 24-9. They give up a touchdown. And then it's 24-16. And then Cleveland get another touchdown, go for the extra point. It's 24-24. Like right now, it's telling me the Ravens have a 88% chance of winning the game. I would just take my money now. I won't bother watching or even acknowledging the fourth quarter. for me. Did Rodri score his 4th goal of the season? Wow. See, I didn't know that. I didn't look into that. Have you looked at the Cowboys this year? I have. I have the teams that I like for the Super Bowl. It's on my website. Dallas, ever since I've started doing this 3 years ago, Dallas always have an unbelievable riddle for the Super Bowl. They just don't ever win it in recent years. So they have another great riddle. I don't think they get there. They should win today against the Giants, but I don't think they get there. They could. It's 2 teams I really like, and we'll see what happens. Adam, do they have a choice or is it their destiny? Great question. Again, those type of questions, I can't give you a factual answer. It's almost like it's so hard. I don't like this because I believe in free will. So, for example, somebody like Cole Palmer, was he destined, or Phil Foden, were they destined to play for City and their first team? I think so. I think so. I don't believe it's man. That's controlling it. I don't believe you can have just a bloodline or contacts. It feels like that, though. That's why it's confusing. You have somebody like Harry Redknapp, whose son's Jamie Redknapp, whose cousin's Frank Lampard, and they all had unbelievable careers as either a manager or a player. You have Gary and Phil Neville. You start questioning how did they make it to United and England? They're not very good. They're not. There's just too many examples of it where it does make you think it could be just corrupt. But then there's so many other examples. It's like, how can you plan this since they were like 6 years old at the academy? Like, did you know Reece James, Mason Mount, and Declan Rice all played for the same team, Chelsea Academy, when they were young, little boys? What's to stop them from snapping their leg or losing their mind? Or they can't be following a script that they're aware of. It feels like that sometimes. I think they have the spirit of Satan. And I think when they get to that level, like, it really does become about pride and ego and money. I'm sure they take their eye off Christ. And they lust after the world and they want to be worshipped. So is it their destiny? Like, again, is it my destiny to be doing this? No, it feels like it. I wasn't searching to be a coder and I wasn't searching for Christ. So it's got to be some sort of balance with it all. I think Christ will lead you in a direction, and there might be an element of destiny to, like, again, I was born on my father's birthday, and all the connections I have with my dad. I think there's an element of destiny, but God's in control, but there's also a free will aspect. God's ultimately in control. He is sovereign. But I don't think every single professional athlete has made it just because they're Masonic. Because I've had loads of friends make it as pro athletes who are living very average lives now. Very average. Working in banks, working in sales. One of them's got his own landscape company. He was making good money as a footballer. But then what happens when you retire at 33, 34? So there's a lot of them. I was speaking to my girlfriend yesterday. We went deep about God. Like, it was great. But she was showing me this video of Travis Kelce, right? And Kelsey's mother. So I'm talking about the NFL here. Now, Super Bowl 57 was Travis Kelce's Chiefs against his brother's Eagles. All right, I'm not even sure of. Let me find his first name. I should know this. Jason, I think. Jason Kelsey. So, again, my girlfriend's emotional. She's so loving. I kind of see through it. So I'll give you an example here, right? So you've got Travis Kelsey and Jason Kelsey both playing in the same Super Bowl against each other. Now, the odds of that are staggering, yeah? Just for your kid to make it to the NFL is staggering. Like, it really is. And I'm not denying the talent of these NFL players. They're unbelievable athletes. Like, phenomenal athletes. The majority of them. Probably the greater athletes are the one that they never talk about. So they always talk about the quarterbacks that don't have to be that athletic. You just have to have great awareness and a good pass and conviction. And good communication skills. You have to have great communication skills as a quarterback. But so your son makes it to the NFL. Wow. He doesn't just make it to the NFL. He's playing for the Chiefs. All right? He's playing for the Chiefs, who are the best team in the NFL and have been for quite a while. Now his brother's playing for the Eagles, who could say are the second best team. Arguably the best team this season. They meet in the Super Bowl. And they may meet again. They're going to be meeting each other on Joe Biden's 81st birthday, whilst the Eagles are 8-1. Like, so there's this video of Kelsey. She straight away goes up to Jason, who lost. I love you, son. You'll get over this. You'll be back next year. All right. Amazing. You've had a great season. I'm so proud of you. So again, people watch that and go, wow, what a great mother. She's consoled her son rather than running to the winner. You go, okay, that's good parenting. And then Jason, for me, again, if I lost the Super Bowl, I don't play football like the National Football League. If I lost the Super Bowl, I promise you I'd break down in tears. Or a World Cup final, if I lost Wimbledon, I'd break down in tears. Now, Jason Kelsey has said to his mom, go congratulate Travis. He deserves it. So Jason's all humble now. All right, I'll deal with it. I've lost. It's part of the game. Go hug and kiss your other son who's just won the Super Bowl. This is his moment. So that happens, and then Travis is like, I love you, Mom. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to be here today. All the sacrifice you've made. So it sounds and looks breathtaking. And I know Satan's the god of this world. And then you see Travis Kelsey, he's doing commercials telling people to get this. He's dating Taylor Swift, who's got the spirit of the serpent. That's why a microphone's a snake. All right. So you start seeing all of this. And you go, right, there's many ways this can go. Has this already been written? Was it destined for the Kelsey brothers to meet Super Bowl 57 and the Chiefs to win? According to the statistics, it's already been written for me. It's almost like all these games have already been played. It's strange. The longer I've done it, you see the numbers and how perfect they are. Like I just give you the Arsenal example with the 19-19 duration and then number 19 opened the scoring. All right, there's no accidents with the jersey numbers either. All right, Travis Kelsey's 87, number of the beast number. And then you have his brother Jason, who's number 62. And that connects right now to war in the Bible, Revelation 6:2. And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Again, Salah scored today after 62 minutes. And my whole code was about the fact that he is King Salah, the Egyptian king. So, again, are the Kelsey brothers these top stars because they come from this elite Masonic family? Well, look at the size of them, guys. Right? So let's break this down now. So, guys, sorry for going off topic. I know you're here. But I said sports, didn't I? I didn't just say Premier League. I said sports. If you look at Travis Kelce and you watch him play, he's unbelievable. His movement, his ability to catch, his agility, his communication. All right, he's got the charisma. He looks unbelievable. And his brother's a great player as well. So it's not like you can be like, all right, I've got contacts. I want my two sons to play in the NFL. I want them on the top teams and I want them to play in the Super Bowl against each other. Look at them. They look like they belong there. They perform like they belong there. So in regards to your question, is it destiny? Do they all know? I don't think they all know. I think it'd be impossible for them all to know. Impossible. So it's not that. They don't all know. I know, again, personally, friends who've called me out for what I say. And they helped me. They helped me see that it wasn't man. So there's got to be an element of destiny. There's definitely Satan involved. He's the god of this world. He uses professional sports to lead us away from Christ. He has us worshipping false idols. When I give you the Salah code, we'll discuss this again, all right? What about the Allen football family, Les Allen and son Clive Allen and his cousins Paul and Martin Allen? Again, Flinney, when you look at the Allen family, yeah, you likely believe that there's a level of corruption to it. But it's probably a vast array of things, you know what I mean? There might be certain players there who are corrupt, but it was still their destiny at the same time. Just their destiny was the corruption element of it. I can't give you a concrete answer, can I? I don't know the answer, but I question. I legit wonder in a streak, Champions League final, the World Cup 2026 with a shout out to your YouTube channel. Hitting on my stomach. I think City will win the Champions League again, and they'll probably beat Bayern Munich. I've just seen a lot of 41s, Noel. I've seen a lot of 41s this year, so I'll give you a few of them now. You've got the fact that Texas Rangers just won the World Series 4-1. 119th World Series, span of 119 days after George Bush's birthday, who owned the Texas Rangers. He was the president during 9/11, which was on 41-day numerology. Stanley Cup finished 4-1. Then the World Cup began with 41 days left in the year. Arsenal's record signing is Declan Rice, number 41. Joe Biden born with 41 days left in the year. So we're seeing all these 41s, right? I'm seeing them everywhere. Now, the big 41 that Man City have is with Guardiola. And he is, I've told you, he's the greatest who ever coached the game of football, in my opinion. Like, he's absolutely just dominated. You can say he's been at the best teams, but the way that he does it, it's just, teams can't touch his teams 95% of the time. So again, is it because he's just gifted? Did God give him the gift? Does the devil give him the gift? Is it a combination? The fact that they call him the GOAT, we know the GOAT is not what you want to be. You want to be a sheep. You want Jesus to be a shepherd. You don't want to be a GOAT. They promote being a GOAT. They mock being a sheep. That's what the devil does. He does everything in reverse. So if Guardiola and City win the Champions League, which is in London, I know Guardiola's won 2 of his Champions League finals against Man United, English opposition. He lost his one Champions League final that he's lost to English opposition, Chelsea, which didn't make any sense. It did afterwards. But if Guardiola wins the Champions League this season, he's 4-1 in Champions League finals. And I think he'll beat Bayern. I think he'll beat Bayern and Kane. But again, it's a big call that you might say, well, it's not a big call. It is, because it's very rare that the two favourites meet each other in the final. If you look historically in the Champions League, it's very rarely the two favourites that get there. Like, who expected Inter Milan last year before the season began? Who said Inter Milan will get into the Champions League final? I said City would get there, but I also like Bayern Munich last year as well with all the war stuff. Now look what Kane's doing. Every game I've called him to score, he's scored. Every game he's got perfect numbers with the war. With World War I, World War II, with Israel now. Every time I called him to score, he did it yesterday. I had Bryant to win, Kane to score, Sané to assist. Bryant won, Kane scored, Sané assisted both of Kane's goals. That game was 2-2, guys, after 70 minutes. That's where you just hammer Bayern Munich. You say, oh, Bayern, of course they're going to win it. No, it was 2-2 after 70 minutes. But I knew where that game was going. Remember, Kane was born the 79-year anniversary of World War I beginning the 22nd prime. That's why they had to incorporate the 2-2. There's some really good value. Got Bayern Munich plus money at home against Heidenheim. Like, you've just got to have conviction and belief and see what's playing out. Like today with Lewandowski. Number 9 made it 1-1, 9-11. And every 9 was involved with Barcelona winning. They got the 9th win. So I'll read a few more of these codes out. Look, now I'm looking at this NFL game, the Ravens and Cleveland. Just like I said, look, it's 24-17. And Cleveland have the ball back with, I don't know how long left, probably about 10 minutes. You've just got to take your money when you can. If you're gambling, guys, if you gamble, the goal is to win money. Should be nothing else. If that's what you want to do, I know it's just the end of the third quarter. If your whole goal is to bet, is to win money, so win money. Do you know what I mean? It sounds simple, but if they're offering you 90% cash out, what are you waiting for? Because you want that extra 10%. There's definitely a huge element of greed with gambling. So many lessons to gambling as well. You can have a go at everybody who does it and mock it and say it's an addiction. I learned so much through gambling about life and greed and patience and concentration. All right. It wasn't, I realized I was being very greedy. But it also, I learned so much when I gambled. If you're just going to go down to the bookies and do a 5-team parlay and guess, you ain't learning anything. But if you do it the way I do it, you're actually learning a ton. You're gaining like knowledge. And if you gain money with it, great. Right, let me go through the Man United code I did yesterday. They won 1-0. Again, like, guys, Luton win non-league 9 years ago, and now they're drawing with Liverpool. They're going to Old Trafford and losing 1-0 when they actually didn't deserve to lose. It's crazy. So I said Man United versus Luton. Red Devils should win this. They can drop Luton to 138. Now, remember recently somebody told me your biblical codes have no relevance. Kind of angered me, but you shouldn't. I'll show you how they have a lot of substance. And again, guys, I was coding Pope Francis, Queen Elizabeth, Kobe Bryant 3 years ago when no one else was doing it. Every game I would involve them all. I got mocked and laughed out of the room. I started incorporating Bible codes everywhere. Start looking what everyone's doing now. So that's great for me. Not for my ego. It's like, all right, that means they have to be studying the Bible now. But that's what's going on. Why is he using Bible codes? What's Revelation 13:8 got to do with Luton dropping to 138? Well, when you understand what the verse represents, it makes sense. Revelation 13:8, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the foundation of the world. Him is talking about Satan. So it made sense for Luton to drop to 138 against the Red Devils, didn't it? It completely makes sense. So again, this was another in-play opportunity. I think Man United scored after 57 minutes. They became plus money. The beast reigns for 1,260 days, and after 12 games, Luton can stay on 6 points, 1-2-6. United can advance to 21 points and keep Luton on 6. 21's the 6, triangular number. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. After 12 games, Man United can get their 7th league win. Buildings 1, 2, and 7 came down on 9/11. United can stay on 7 draws and 4 losses to Luton, and 7 is the 4th prime. Lucifer equals 74. And again, I've told you this over and over and over and over again, that how many times does Ten Hag win 1-0? So many times, yeah, and he wins 1-0. And a lot of people are, again, hammering Man United this season, hammering Ten Hag. Guys, they're only 7 points off top of the league. Like, when we talk about these coaches, like, for example, Sir Alex, I always say anybody with a Sir in front of the name, I don't trust them. Anybody with a knighthood, I don't trust them. Now, Sir Alex Ferguson didn't coach his players on the training ground. He didn't coach them. He had players, ex-players and coaches like Carlos Queiroz, Mike Phelan, Steve McLaren. He didn't actually coach his players, but he goes down as the greatest manager of all time. And something off about that. I think, again, Fergie, I think Fergie's got the spirit of Satan in him. There's something off with him. There's something very off with Arsene Wenger, who's now employed by the World Economic Forum. I think they have the spirit of Satan within them. So, again, was Wenger coaching his team when they were unbelievable with Henry and Perez and Woutard and Vieira? Like, was that because of some big lanky Frenchman? I don't think so. And then Arteta coached under Guardiola. They both played for Barcelona, and now they're the best 2 teams in England, and they're going against each other. So it feels like somebody is writing it, but it isn't man. But it feels like that sometimes. But then you see everything that plays out, and you go, it can't be man. It can't be man. So, again, for me, I'm so happy that I've given myself to Jesus Christ. It's the only thing in this world that I have true conviction for. That I believe in my heart and soul is the truth. So, do I enjoy questioning the world and reality and secret societies and the way of the world and how the professional sports really operate? I do sometimes. I find it stimulating. But it can often lead you down a road where you're not going to find an answer. Like when people say, who's behind this illusion? Who's behind the code? I believe it's God, but I can't prove it. And then someone else says, no, it's the Freemasons. They can't prove it. Other people say it's purely witchcraft. They can't prove it. It's, again, similar with the shape of the earth. You can have amazing arguments for why it's flat, for sure. I believe it is, but where do you go with it? So I've learned that I've got to give myself to the word. I believe that's the truth. And I can talk about all this. I can express my opinion when people ask me, who's winning the Champions League? Well, from the numbers, I think it's City. I know if City win, people will just say, it's City. I get that. Even if they came back from 3-0 down in the final and became 25-1 in play and won, they'd still say, well, it's City. So trying to prove myself, it's not worth it. Now, preaching the word of God, now that is something worth doing day after day. Again, I can't prove that. But but the way I talk about it, the fire I have, I don't have as much fire now. If you notice when I read out the sports codes, I'll read them. There's still an element of how is this? This is just crazy. But I don't have that same like excitement. I could go 9 games in a row, get them all right, and I still don't have that same excitement. Maybe back in the day, I had that extra level of excitement because I was betting thousands of dollars a day. So think about it, guys. Think of the situation I was in. You have a Patreon that's doing well. You have a YouTube channel that's doing pretty well. You've done this code, all right? Loads of people on your website are like, Illusion, amazing, thank you, I've just won this amount of money. Then I've won $2,000 off the pick. So I can go live. All right, guys, and just like I told you, again, very arrogant the way I would do it because I was overly excited, overly stimulated. What did I tell you guys? All right. What did I tell you? I said that City would win this. I said it, and that's why I won this money. Well done to everyone on the website. Like it makes me sick looking back. But you've got to understand why I did it. All these people are saying, Adam, wow, amazing. I've won all this money. I've done this code. I've won all this money. Now I can go flaunt it and show off online to thousands of people, then get more people to my website. You could see why it became an addiction for me. I rarely ever lost money, ever. Times I did. Like I still to this day believe I'm one of the worst losers in the world. Still to this day. Went out on, and I've not got any better at that. I hope to God I do. I just don't compete as much now. But so I'm in a bar again. I rarely go out. Just went out with my girlfriend and one of her friends, and it was this Irish bar. And I was like, okay, I'll have a couple of beers. And it was a games night going on. So there were darts, there was Jenga, there was Connect 4. There was this film quiz game, card game. So I'm going into all of them like, I better win. How ridiculous, guys. I'm 37 and I'm desperate to win Jenga or Uno or Connect 4. I just think that is within me. It's not like I'm going to fight somebody if I lose. And I will say this, I don't make excuses anymore. All right. Back in the day, if I ever lost at anything, I would have an excuse. All right. It was always, I didn't play well enough. I never gave credit to anybody else. I know that. I just rarely lost. I was a bad loser, still am. So we start off, and the first thing we do was Jenga. And it was 3 of us playing. I've never played Jenga with 3 people before. It's always one-on-one anytime I've played it. So again, back in the day, I would say that's an excuse. Well, I didn't win because usually it's just one-on-one. So Jenga, we were playing it, went on forever. And then it came to me, I just looked at it, I was like, I'm done here. This is about to collapse. And like, go on, Adam, go on. Or like, I'm like 99.9% sure that this is collapsing right now. So I was playing around and my blood was boiling because I knew it were coming down. I was just, back in day, I would have just swiped it with my hand. But I was like, no, just do it. Let them have it. Lose. Just lose, Adam. So I pulled it out and I got it like pretty much all the way out, but you knew it would just shake. And I'm like, even if I caress this, if I make love to this little Jenga piece here, it's collapsing on me, baby. And it did. And then you hear all the bricks collapse. It's like, hey! And I'm like, oh. So I'm looking round straight away. Sorry for going off topic again. I'm looking round straight away. I need to make up for that loss. So I said, right, me, you now, one-on-one, Connect 4. It was this huge Connect 4. Huge Connect 4. All right? And again, that is an element of luck to Connect 4, but there's a little bit of strategy to it, and a little bit of patience. And if you don't focus with one move, you can get eaten alive. So I play him, and I knew I knew that I'd set him up where I can't lose here. About halfway through it, I was like, okay, I have 2 opportunities to win here. Wherever he puts whatever it is that you put down, I'm gonna beat him. So I whispered in my girlfriend's ear, again, 37-year-old, about to win, Connect 4, which is a kid's game. And I've said, baby, watch me win. And I think I went, woo. I'm looking back now thinking that's tragic. So I went, listen, mate, it's called Monkey Man. He's not black, but he looks like a monkey. He's white. He looks like a monkey. So it's not racist in any way. He knows he looks like a monkey. And I'll say this again, he's not black. And I said, I've beat you. And he went, no, you haven't. I went, I've beat you. I beat you. And I'm like, oh, God. At the time, again, just looking back, it's just, And then as he put it down, I winked at my girlfriend like I'd just achieved something massive, monumental. I winked at her like, watch this, babe. And then I won. And all he did was he sat down. And I'm thinking like the whole bar's going to give me a standing ovation for beating him. And I'm like, Adam, what are you doing? But I'm just a horrific loser. So although I won practically every bet that I did, I was an awful loser. Awful loser with gambling. And it wasn't just like I've just lost $1,500. More often than not, I wasn't even so devastated by the financial loss of it. It was like I lost. And my members have just lost, probably. So it was like a double. And then obviously I ain't going to go live. Hey guys, just lost $1,500 and 6 of my members lost money as well. Hope you're well. You don't have the motivation to do it. So we know when it comes to gambling, guys, you only tell people when you win. That's just pretty much how we're wired. We tell people when we do well, we keep it quiet when we don't. But I will say, since I've got into this coding with sports, I do believe my hit rate is remarkable. It is. It's proven. I've got people that can back it up. But I don't need to tell people as much as I used to. Right. Anyways, completely went off topic. Apologize for that. I do that very often. Right. I'm going to go with the Liverpool code. Guys, can you do me a favor and hit the like button if you're finding this interesting? It gives me an idea if I should keep doing it or not today, or whether I should just end it in 5 or 10 minutes. Let me know. Liverpool versus Brentford. So Brentford had won the last 3 games. Brentford are this strange team that can beat anybody. Just look what they did to City last season. They can beat anybody, even though they lost their best striker to gambling, who I think is going to sign for Arsenal, even Tony. They're still doing very well. Team that wasn't long ago in the Championship. I said one of either Liverpool, Villa, and Man City won't win today. Turned out it was City. I'm just reading it out. Liverpool should not lose this and they should win. Liverpool heavily connect to the royal family and then become 8-3-1 for the season. Very similar to Arsenal. They've got the same record as Arsenal. The 2 teams that most connect to the Queen are Arsenal and Liverpool. Arsenal's the only team that's ever gone to Buckingham Palace and sat down and had tea with Queen Elizabeth when they were the Invincibles. Princess Diana died on 8/31 with her Egyptian boyfriend. So look out for number 11, Mo Salah, the Egyptian king, to score. Scored 2. Scored the opening goal. The Saudi prince was born on 8/31. And obviously Salah's the Egyptian king. Liverpool can stay on 3 draws and 1 loss in the league exactly 31 weeks before Klopp's birthday. And that was a huge find, guys. The teams last met 6 months and 6 days ago, and they meet today again on 66 dating emoji pure. 66 is the 11th triangular number, and Salah wears number 11. I did say this. I said, don't write off this game going 1-1, not finishing 1-1. but Liverpool won 3-0, very comfortable. Brentford will drop to 4-4-4. And I saw number 4, Van Dijk cleared one off the line. 9/11 occurred exactly 3,119 days after the 1993 World Trade Center bombings. And 3,119 is the 444th prime. Now, Brentford are 4-4-4, just like Chelsea, these London teams. Liverpool can stay on 4 losses and 4 draws all time to Brentford, who can stay on 16 points in the league. 4 times 4 equals 16. The teams last met when King Charles was coronated. It was May the 6th, which was Cole Palmer's birthday, who made it 4-4 today. There's another connection. Wow. I've just shown you the Liverpool-Brentford game connects to Chelsea City. And King Charles was coronated at age 74. 7's the 4th prime. Wow. All those 44s for Liverpool. And then Chelsea draw 4-4. Again, Sterling, he played at City. So did Palmer. How many times does this have to happen, guys? Where a player haunts his old club. They say haunt. Again, it makes me just think of like spiritual wickedness. Palmer haunts City. Salah haunts Chelsea because he used to play at Chelsea back in the day where he wasn't particularly good. He was like a squad player. It happens so often, guys. Can you guys think of any more examples? Thank you, Alto. I was just being honest with that story. My arrogance, cockiness is still there. My inability to accept defeat. But again, I have given myself to Christ. I have put somebody in my life above me for the first time ever, like fully above me. So I have given myself to Christ. And that is, I have humbled myself. The only person that could humble me is God. People tried it so often. People do it now, don't they? They try and humble me. You ain't as good as you think you are. You haven't solved the mysteries of the universe. Pipe down. They still do it to me. They won't work on me. But God's humbled me. Somebody had to do it. I think the only person that could was him. And he's so great. It makes me feel like this. When I think of God, I am like this. Nobody else can do that to me. God wins undefeated. Exactly. So Salah scores, Liverpool win. For those gamblers out there, that's like 2-1. Let me read the Barcelona code. Give me a woo if you want this Barcelona code, guys. This was one I just felt supremely confident with all the war games going on right now. All the war numbers, just everything's hitting with war. And Barcelona's next game is on Maradona's birthday. No, on Maradona's death date. So I was like, they have to win this because he played at Barcelona and all the numbers tell me they were winning it. So they go into the next game. I'm not going to tell you how I think that's going to go yet. So I haven't gone deep enough, but I have an idea. And Sterling, by the way, Sterling connects to money. You know what I mean? Sterling, pound sterling. It connects to money. Silver connects to money. It's just really deep. So, you see 9/11 twice a day, every day. Guys, I did a code yesterday about the number 11 because it's been my number since I was a kid. I stayed up till 2 a.m. The Ravens are winning 31-17 now. You'd think that would be it, but you never know. You never know. Again, Cleveland could just go get another touchdown quickly. So I wanted to learn about the number 11. And I did. I'll have to do a live stream about it. Because there's so much to that number that I didn't know myself. I used my own knowledge, the knowledge that God's given me. I studied the number 11, how it connects to the Bible, astrology, sports, the properties of the number 11, how it connects to 9/11. It was crazy. So I'll read out the Barca code right now. This code, I would say this code was my favorite today because it was the one I just felt thank you to Rico33 on my website. He coded Jod at a score. He made it 3-0. He's really gifted coder, really nice guy. And again, he's not going to get every single pick right that he does, but the guy puts out codes every single day. And I would say he's about 60, 70%, I would say, which is, again, that's like a pro tipster who get thousands of dollars a week giving out tips. There's people on my website with higher hit rate and decent odds. So let's go through this Barca code. Just know that they went down and they became plus 170 in play. And I was supremely confident. Again, Thomas Lockwood would be able to back me up. I said Barcelona win this game. Look, touchdown Cleveland. They dragged these games out. And they'll probably go for 2 points now. Because they're 8 behind and there's 9 minutes left. They'll probably go for 2. Oh, no, they went for 1. Right. So Barcelona should win in a war riddle. With a loss, Alaves dropped to 3-3-7. Now, Aguero's last ever game in his career was against Alaves when he had chest pain on Diego Maradona's birthday. That was his last ever game. Diego Maradona died of a heart attack. Di Maria scored in the World Cup final, did the heart celebration, which is actually Baphomet. I'm so glad God showed me that and revealed that to me. That is not a heart celebration. Go on my Instagram and see what I posted about Justin Bieber. He did the Baphomet, which is the heart, and he said, "This is what I think of my fans." Mocking you. And that was back when that was 2012. I think Bieber's 29 now. All right. So, what's that? How old would he have been? Young lad in his teens. Just crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. It might have been 2011. So it would have been 17. And he's doing the Baphomet pose. It's what it is. It's not the heart. Like, who are they? Are they doing it to the fans? This love heart that they're doing? Angel Di Maria, by the way, was born on Valentine's Day, which connects to hearts. A load of them are doing it. Top goal scorer for England in the Euros didn't make the squad, but Calvin Phillips did. That's true. All right. So Alaves dropped to 337. 337 is the 68th prime number. There's that 68 again. All world wars began on 68 date emoji pure. Russia invaded the Ukraine, 68 date emoji pure. Adolf Hitler died a span of exactly 68 months after World War II began. So again, Hitler, was it written for him to do what he did? Is he just a 33-degree Freemason? Did one guy really have the ability to orchestrate 2 world wars? Was it spiritual wickedness? Was he just the modern day King Nebuchadnezzar, where, remember, God would darken the heart of Pharaoh? Because God can do that. Is it the elite behind World War I and World War II? Is it the elite that are going to be behind World War III? Do they really need more money? Do they really have to control us? Like, how much more can they control us? Is it spiritual wickedness in high places? Yes, it is. Barca can advance to 30 points and keep Alaves on 12. 30 plus 12 equals 42. World War equals 42. War equals 42. Albert Pike predicted there would be 3 world wars. He died on 4-2. Barca's 13th league game, they can get their 9th win. 139 is the 34th prime. 34 is the 9th Fibonacci number. They can get their 9th league win. Lewandowski wears number 9 for Barcelona, so he should score. He scored 2 and the winning goal. Barca can get 23rd La Liga win versus Alaves. 23 is the 9th prime. 3 times 3 equals 9. And Alaves can stay on 3 wins and 3 draws in the league. This couldn't have been any more perfect. Right? It literally couldn't have been any more perfect. Without being arrogant, it couldn't have been. And then it finished 2-1. And war equals 21. And Adolf Hitler, oh my word, Cleveland have just got a touchdown. This is what I'm saying. I can feel where it's going. Now it's 30-31, 3-3-1. The last verse of Revelation is 22-21, the 331st prime. So again, like these games, it's not man. If it was real, the Ravens would be out of sight now. It's just not man. Anyways, yeah, that code. Like, why Lewandowski? I don't know. He's Polish, isn't he? Hitler invaded Poland. That triggered World War II. And then Lewandowski played in Germany. I think is he Bayern's all-time leading scorer? He probably is. I know he's the all-time leading Champions League scorer. And he played at Dortmund. Then he goes to Bayern. Now he's at Barca. He loves teams that begin with B. So yeah, when Alaves went up and they were leading for 53 minutes, it was just one of them. If I bet, which I don't, if I did, I would have just hammered and obliterated Barcelona in play. Like, gone at least $1,500 on Barca in play down. Would I have taken them before the game? No, because they were 1-4. I wouldn't have done that. Would I have taken Lewandowski and Barcelona to win at plus 140? Yes. So last night, by the way, in the UFC, just crazy stuff, like remarkably double coded. But the big thing you need to know this is Aspinall. All right, he's fighting a Russian, Pavs, his nickname. And he won first round, and he became the 3rd ever English UFC champion. Stayed on 3 losses. I just said World War III is going to be announced anytime. All right, it's crazy. So did those 2 fighters go into that knowing who was going to win? I don't think so. I don't think so. And then there was this top ex-UFC fighter, forgot his name, British one, Bisbee. Somebody help me out, guys. But he said right before the fight, he literally said what was going to happen. He called it. And it makes you feel like Bisping, yeah, Bisping. He literally called it. He said he were going to win. And he said it with like supreme confidence, almost at the point where it's like he knew. It felt like he was mocking the public. He's smiling, and he said it. It's like he knew. But I don't think he knew. And I know a lot of people think they do know. They all know. Like, there's people now with this Ravens-Cleveland game will tell me, all of them know right now. They all know their role. Vegas have given them the script. And again, I'm not going to mock them anymore for that. They all know. And it's entertainment, and it is to distract, but ultimately it's to take people's money. I think it's way bigger than money with how deep it is spiritually and biblically. But again, you watch some like this game right now. If somehow Cleveland win, people are going to go, it was fixed, because Ravens, practically everyone would have bet on them. This is the thing. Whether you are into the code or whether you're just a normie in regards to betting, you would have taken Baltimore to win. You just would have. Minus 250, having a great season, Cleveland at average. So it'd be very easy now for the average bettor who might lose a parlay today to be like, well, Vegas just, they let Cleveland come back into it. They were winning 31-17 in the fourth. Like, it makes no sense. So clearly it's rigged. I don't think it is. I don't think it's rigged by man. I think this scoreline right now in this game, 30-31, all right, it had to be that score. I don't think anyone can change it. And it looks like it's sometimes like NFL, Premier League. There's something going on with VAR. I called out VAR instantly. So it's going to ruin the game. And it's almost like now somebody told, I think it was Lockwood. He said, City have just won a penalty. It blatantly wasn't a penalty. The referee's given it, but then gone to VAR. VAR pretty much shows it wasn't a penalty. They were both pulling each other's shirts. Yet he still gives the penalty. Or sometimes VAR, a player's offside by 3 yards. Referee gives the goal. Okay, fair enough. He was slightly out of position. Let's check the monitor. It's 3 yards off. Everyone can see that. And they still give the goal. Or the ball's gone out of play. We can all see it's gone out. They watch it for 10 minutes. No, it's still in. Like, the only person that thinks it's in. So it seems like there's somebody in the refs here who's saying, listen, we've had a bit of a nightmare here. Ball's definitely gone out, but this is going to screw up the whole script. I'm not doing the mockery like I usually do here. So we can't allow this. All right? We need to give the goal. All right? We need to give the goal. Newcastle need to score this goal. So NFL, like, team goes up, a few seconds left. Yes, get in there. They've come back. What a win. Is that a flag? What? It looks like there's a flag. So you've gone from thinking, wait, we've won last second, to then there's a flag, and then you've gone back 10 yards. Now you're back 10 yards, and then you throw an interception, you've lost. It would really feel as a fan or a bettor that you've been screwed over by Vegas, yeah? I think it's spiritual wickedness. I think it is man involved, because obviously they're playing it out, but I don't think they're behind it. So I always get asked that question: who's doing this? Is it a combination? I think it's just it is what it is. And you see the mockery sometimes and the symbolism, and it really does feel many times that they know what they're doing. I ain't going to lie and pretend that it don't feel that way, but that's emotional. That's your emotions. When I break down the code and see how perfect it is, I know it ain't man. Thank you, God, for getting me to that point, because I was a fool. Thought it was man. I thought it was the elite. Don't even call them that anymore. They're not the elite. They are not above me. I don't mean it that I'm above them either. But they're not the elite. They have the spirit of Satan. They're consumed with the world. They do want power. Tell you what I watched yesterday again with my girlfriend. I don't own a TV, but she said she really wanted to watch Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail. She said, it reminds me of my grandpa. I haven't seen this for ages. Can we just sit back and watch it? And I was tired. I was like, yeah, I can watch that. Again, I've not completely given up on movies now, like I did for a year and a half. I refused to watch them. I was very harsh with people. I almost felt like I was better than them for not watching them. Just being honest with you. And now I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch this with different eyes. So when she said it was Indiana Jones, the Holy Grail, I said, right, this is going to be about God. So yeah, let's watch it. So again, I don't want to ruin the movie for you, and I'm sure plenty of you have already watched the movie. I feel like it was about God, and it was about greed in many ways for many of the characters within the movie. But when it came to Indiana Jones, like the Holy Grail, it saved his father. Like the guy who truly wanted the Holy Grail and he wanted to be immortal and live forever and be forever young, which again, I think is a lot of people in Hollywood. That's not how God works. God will give you what you need. And if you watch the Holy Grail, like his father, Indiana Jones's father, he got shot. And that's why Indiana Jones did the mission, because he wasn't going to do it. It's like, he did it. It was like, this is your only choice to save your dad. So there was these 3 challenges that he had to pass. And they were all connected to God. And the final one was the one that gave me chills. And I predicted it before it happened. I'd never watched this movie before. And the third one, he had to, he was on one part of like, I don't know, a building or a cave. And then he had to get from one side to the other. But there was nothing for him to get across. There was no pathway or anything. So then you realize, you're like, this is a leap of faith. I said it instantly. I said, this is a leap of faith. He has to believe with conviction that he's going to get across there. And it's not through his ability. All right. He's just got to take that leap. And he did. And he took this leap where in his mind, his human flesh is, I'm going to die right now. I'm going to die. Like, and then this pathway appeared out of nowhere because he took the leap of faith, which is what I've done with Christ, which is what we all should be looking to do. You got to take that leap of faith, and he gets across, and there it is. But who else got across was the greedy guy, the rich, greedy guy who wanted the Holy Grail for personal gain. And he went across with this beautiful girl who ultimately, she was a backstabber, and she was all about ego as well, and not as much as him. And then they had to pick out what the Holy Grail was, like basically what they were going to drink from. And the girl said, let me do it. She had this confidence and arrogance like she knew. And she went for the shiniest gold one. I was like, I said to my girlfriend, I said, that ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. I said, it's probably going to be the worst one. She was like, just wait, Adam. Okay, I kept predicting. I said, just wait. So the guy's like all cocky, and he gets the water and he drinks from it. And then he just turns to dust and bones. So the girl starts breaking down. And then Indiana Jones, the average person would see that and go, I don't want. There were so many options to choose from, and only one of them was correct. Right? It was like almost like Russian roulette, playing with fire. Straight after he witnessed this guy just turn to dust, dead, Indiana Jones walked towards where all of these, let's call them cups. And he went, I'm picking that. And then the guy said, you chose wisely. And Indiana Jones, it wasn't about his ego. He wasn't doing it for him. He did it for his dad. He did it for also, like, his dad were doing it for mankind as well. He didn't want the Nazis to get hold of it. So again, it's just doing things for the right reasons. Similar to what I do here. You could say, oh, you just promote gambling. That's not why I do what I do, is it? It's one aspect to it, but that's not the purpose of what I do. I want people to build their faith, to take a leap of faith on Christ, to see we live in a coded reality, to see that God's behind the code, to see that the devil does exist, that there's spiritual wickedness taking place everywhere we look, that the devil wants to rob the message of Christ from your heart, that he wants to lead you astray, that he wants to lead you away from the Bible, which is the truth. So, again, do I want people to keep betting and winning lots of money? It's not something that really appeals to me. I'd get way more pleasure if somebody said, Adam, I've given up gambling. Loads of people have done this. This is something I wanted to say as well, just before I go. Again, it's not to give myself a pat on the back. I believe that every single person that, look, Cleveland are going to win this game, that come on my website, pretty much, who bets, bet before me. They were already betting, whether for a year, 10 years, 50 years, 15 years, they were already betting. And they wasn't doing very well because they wouldn't be going to my website. They wouldn't need anyone's help. Now, the amount of people who've emailed me or texted me or sent me an Instagram and said, your work has led me away from gambling. It's led me away from professional sports. I've given up my season ticket. All right, I don't talk to my friends about it anymore. Now, that's a blessing. So when people say, you're leading people to gambling, it's like they already gambled. If they're signing up to my website to gamble, they were already gambling before. So I ain't leading anyone to gambling. They were doing it. They just wanted to come somewhere where they could get consistent wins for $10 or 35 cents a day. I didn't lead anyone to gamble. They were already doing it. So again, that argument doesn't have much to it. And Cleveland are about to win this game. So if you are on my website, it is a lesson. 90% of your money, absolutely cruising. Anything can happen. They're about to lose with seconds left. Crazy stuff. So, yeah, there's more codes I could go into, but I think these are enough. Like Leeds won yesterday. Plymouth stayed on 4 wins and 4 draws and 16 points, 4 times 4. Leeds won 2-1. We recently had a player die, Rafael Dewama. Guys, this is another thing. Dropping dead at 28, a pro athlete. He died on 11/11 on the pitch when the score was 1-1 like 11, 10 months and 1 day before his birthday. That's something we've got to be very, very wary of, guys, that many people dropping dead young and it's becoming normalized. Many men are dressing up as women. It's becoming normalized. This stuff is not normal. And I am like slightly concerned about where the world is, how we've become so desensitized to evil, and so desensitized to the devil, to what is wrong. So you can't say it's wrong. No, you can. There's certain things you have to be calling out. So again, for me, with professional sports, I've had loads of times where I've said I don't want to do it anymore. I'd happily just go back to coaching, make a living off that. Zero stress. And then I'm just like, no, like, there's not many people that can do this at this level every day. So it's like, do I give up on a gift that God's given me? which is a gift that very few people have, just to make my life easier and less stressful, because it would be a lot less stressful without the illusion. But it wouldn't be anywhere near as impactful if I was just coaching for a living. So yeah, think I've got a balance. But you can always be more balanced. But again, you need Christ as your cornerstone to have that foundation. He is our foundation. It's why so many people are unstable right now, because they don't have Christ in their life. They're unstable. Are Cleveland going to win with 33 points? Cleveland equals 33. Sunday 33. It is a huge number, guys. Baltimore 31 points, the 11th prime. It's absolutely scandalous. But again, it's not Vegas. It ain't Vegas. Why that just happened. For me, I can't prove it. I don't think it is Vegas. Why a team can be so unbelievable and then just throw interceptions and can't defend. And I don't know why Vegas would do it. Pleasure is a distraction. We're not on earth to be happy. Yeah, pleasure is a distraction. I think nothing wrong with occasionally having it. But when you live for it, when you can't live without it, then it's a huge distraction. If you constantly need to be stimulated, mate, Jenga's a cracking game. It's a great game of discipline. Again, is Jenga luck? Was it destiny that I lost? Was it just the luck of the draw? Was I nervous? I don't know. I don't like the idea of I was going to lose that game. I just think I lost. I lost. I don't think everything's been pre-written for us. I think there'd be no free will, would there? So Cleveland, they won 64 points in the game. It's a comical league. I do believe the people in the NFL do have the spirit of Satan in them. I do believe that. I don't know if they're actively worshiping the devil. I think many of them will be, many of them won't be. But I think they do have the spirit of the serpent when they step on those fields or courts or whatever it may be. Hockey team played yesterday on 11-11 with a record of 11-1-1 and stayed on 11 wins against a team wearing red on Remembrance Day. That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just, again, like, who's planning this for every team to have these perfect records? Like, who's doing that? It's too much to factor in, guys. It's not just like there's a couple of teams playing every week. There's so many games going on. So many games going on. So I think the Ravens are going to be 7-3 now. That's Brady. He retired 7-3. They're going to drop to 3-2 at home. He retired the 32nd day of the year. Just insanity. Right, so tomorrow I'll try and do a live stream about the number 11. So I've told you I'm writing a book called The Rise of Christ, The Fall of Lucifer, and basically how the Bible's coded. I wanted to break down certain numbers and what they represent. So I'm going to work on that at some point. Maybe not today. It's not Vegas, the reason why Vegas Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup and made the Stanley Cup appearance in the first season after the Vegas shooting. Yeah, it is coded, but it was not, mate, Vegas were one of the favorites to win it, right? Vegas Knights were one of the favourites to win the Stanley Cup. Loads of people who bet on hockey futures would have taken them. Vegas didn't make money from them winning. Same with like Argentina. They were the third or fourth favourites. It's not like Saudi Arabia won it. The Chiefs won it last season. They won the Super Bowl. They were the favourites. Loads of people took the Chiefs pre-season to win it. Man City were the favourites for the Champions League. They won it. So if we're talking about Vegas and they just want to completely stitch over the public, there's many times where favourites win. More often than not, a favourite wins, yeah? It's just there's always a couple each day that don't. Like the Ravens now. Most favourites will win today. But if you had the Ravens in a parlay, it's gone. Doesn't matter if the next 5 games hit. That's why I would never do parlays. Maximum I ever did was 2 games together, which you could class as a parlay, but I was never doing 5, 6 team parlays. They ain't going to hit consistently. If you look at fans, they seem possessed. As well, I think the fans are under possession. Now, I've been a fan in a stadium. I wholeheartedly believe I was in control of my emotions. When I went to watch Man United or Bradford City, or went to watch the Lakers, I watched the LA Kings a few times, but more when I was like, the games I went to Old Trafford, I would be like possessed. Singing and screaming at the ref and losing my mind when United scored. If they conceded, felt like somebody punched me in my stomach. I was probably under a spell. I didn't feel like it. I just felt like a fan. My team's winning, my team's losing it. I felt like a fan. But yeah, you see these fans. I think something goes on in these stadiums. There's some sort of ritual and satanic energy that takes over. Takes over the players, takes over the officials, takes over the coaches, takes over the fans. But we're not aware of it. So maybe that's what it is. When you go to these games as a fan, guys, you don't feel like you're possessed. If somebody said to you, right, JR, Dirk, BK2, Agent D, Shelby 23, Rottweiler, all right, Troy Henry. If somebody came up to you and said, you're possessed. You're under demonic possession when you go watch these games. You'd be like, what are you on about? No, I'm not. I'm just expressing my emotions. Nope. You're under demonic possession. You'd say to them, wouldn't you? What are you talking about? Piss off, mate. No, I'm not. Now, imagine I go up to a player and tell them this. If I go up to an NFL player and say, you're possessed, aren't you? You go on that pitch and you're possessed by spiritual wickedness. I think they believe that they're playing. That's why you have the genuine emotion. This is not flesh and blood. I keep telling you over and over and over and over and over again. It's not flesh and blood. It's spiritual wickedness and principalities in high places that don't like us. And there'll be certain ways that they can latch onto us and possess us, probably when we're taking part in activities that we really shouldn't be. Drinking alcohol. It brings out the worst in many people. Those demons, they're like leeches. When you're gambling, they'll come for you. All right? The way you feel after you've watched pornography, that feeling, they've latched onto you. When you're in that stadium, giving all your energy to false idols and not Christ. All right, let's enter them. I think they latch on. So when we stay away from it, when we don't partake in spiritual wickedness and give in to temptation, there's not a lot they can do. Now, imagine a drug dealer trying to sell me drugs. I've never used this analogy. Let's see how it comes. Imagine a drug dealer comes up to me and tries to sell me drugs. He ain't going to do it. It's not going to work. All right? Now, imagine he goes up to an addict and tries to sell him drugs. He's got more chance of selling drugs to an addict than somebody who's never taken drugs, yeah? So these demons will latch on to people who are constantly committing sinful acts or being in love with the world. They can latch on, I think. And now these leagues, they are all satanic. It is about worship. It is about money. That's what it's all about. And these demons know. They know how man operates. They know the power of lust. And they know our weaknesses. God knows everything about us. I think these demons, they really know our weaknesses. Man's weakness and each individual person's weakness as well. And they latch on to it. So again, with Jesus, we're all carrying a cross. We all carry a cross on our back, as Jesus did. We always will. Sometimes you'll have days where it feels a bit lighter, or you feel like you've adjusted to the cross on your back. Other days it will hold you down. And we all have that cross on our back. We all have elements in our life that we're not fully in control of. We all have certain things that tempt us. However much we try, we're still giving in to that temptation. And this is where the devil attacks. So that's why I've got to study the word, focus on the word. And it's not a distraction studying the word. The demons want me to do that? Of course they don't, but I don't think they can latch onto me. When you've got the Holy Spirit guiding you, it's almost like they flee. They don't like light, do they? Like vampires. They don't like the light. Demons want to be in darkness. So they often latch onto people who are depressed or chasing money and girls and fame. They can latch onto them. They like all of that. But when it comes to like light and truth, they avoid it like the plague. So if we live our life the way we should be, as scripture teaches us, they're just so limited as to what they can do to us. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. And again, I do think A-list or B-list or C-list celebrities, I do believe they can be saved. I do. I think some of them have been. I think more often than not, then they disappear. I don't think they get murdered. I've told you. I think Satan wants you to think that he can do that. I think that's not how it goes for me. But I do believe all of us can be saved. You know what I'd love to do? If I was in England right now, I would love to go to a prison and ask them, say, can I speak with all the prisoners and preach the word to them and tell them that they can be saved, that they're not worthless, that they're not good for nothing, that they can receive the gift of salvation, that they can be saved even if they've murdered or raped somebody, even if they've stolen from their own mother. You can be saved. I would love to do that. It'd be hard for me here. My Spanish is 65, 70%. I couldn't express myself in Spanish at the prisons here, but that's the type of stuff I should be doing now, getting in schools to people who need the word, not standing in the middle of the city centre. Well, not the city. Where I live, guys, the downtown is full of nightclubs, entertainment. There's immense wealth there. So many distractions there. If I was to just stand in the middle preaching the word of Christ, it ain't going to work. Again, I live in a tourist attraction. if you go into like a prison, a school, that's go from church to church. All right, attend multiple Bible studies. Don't just attach yourself with one church. That's what I'm doing right now. But then you've got to, you're in the world. Like, I get offered all this coaching and teaching and private lessons and coding and live streaming. Like, one of my issues is I want to do everything. That's why I get sick, I think. But I can't do everything. It's like after this, I'm going to play tennis. And then I'll do something straight after that. And then I'll go somewhere else. It's like, I can't just sit back and take it in sometimes, me. I always have to move on to something else. Anyways, giving you the codes with the numbers, I've talked a lot about a lot of things here. I see the light. I see the light of Christ. It's the greatest gift I have. Whatever happens to me, financially, emotionally, my relationship, my reputation, that's not what matters. I have Christ. I have Christ. And that is just, I want to make a huge impact on the world. I don't think I'm going to do it necessarily as the illusion, but I think what I've done as the illusion is going to get me to a point where I can really preach the word of God. I think that's my calling. I hope it's my calling. There's no greater calling on earth than being a true disciple of God and preaching his word. Trusting that he's just going to look after you. I hope that is my ultimate calling, but I think time's running out. That's why I have this like intensity to spread the word now. And not be like, oh, wait till I've retired. I'll make this money. I'll wait till I'm retired. Then I'll go pastor in a church. No, I feel like almost like it's on me now. Jack of all trades, baby. Cheers. I'll take that as a compliment. I can relate. I used to really care about sports to the point if my team lost, it would make me upset. Yeah. What I'm saying is just how I feel. I say how I feel, guys. I just say how I feel. I'm not going to say I speak the truth. It's my truth. All right? I just tell you as it is. It's up to you how you react to it, innit? Right, I'm off. I'll do a stream tomorrow about, Adam, can you play chess? No. And I've never really been motivated to want to learn. I've got a friend called Chema, remarkable chess player. He set up a chess club at the school. And the concept seems very interesting, but no, I can't play chess. I've never really tried to either. I might have sat down with someone for 10 minutes, like, go on, what's the rules of chess? And then, nah, okay, that ain't for me. I need to be up and about, running about, like stimulated. Now, chess, I'd definitely probably be more open to it. I'm sure it's all about patterns and critical thinking and decision making, and I'm sure there's a statistical element to it. Sure, it's a very, very intense activity, which people mock. Again, a lot of people mock chess, which I did. I'd be like, people only play chess who can't play real sports. Remember, I was a jerk in many ways. I didn't acknowledge people who played chess. Now I'm like, guys have to have a pretty crazy mind and patience to be able to play that game. So, no, don't play chess. Will I ever play it? I don't really have the motivation to want to play it. I don't want to take on any more responsibilities, to be honest. I'm annoyed I grew up atheist because it's hard now to tell my family about believing in a creator. I'm the only believer in my family, so I feel you. I'm the only believer in Christ in my whole family. I've tried to speak to them, and They don't mock me. They definitely don't mock me. They shut me off. I think my brother John mocks me. He mocks Christ. He mocks God. He mocks what I do in general. He's the only one who mocks me, is John. My dad said, I don't believe in God. Just let it go, pretty much. My mum went to church and then she stopped. So she's using COVID as an excuse. Well, I went before COVID and now I've just stopped and now I've decided to run instead. So I think a lot of people gave up on church after COVID. They haven't gone back. It's now become a chore. My other brothers don't believe in God. My sister says there's a higher being, but she doesn't believe in Jesus. She just believes there's a higher being. She believes there's a creator, but she doesn't believe in the Bible necessarily. She's the closest to. My uncle doesn't believe in the Bible. So I get it, mate. I don't let it upset me anymore. I see it as God's chose me on this path. I can't dictate how my family see the world. I'm no better than my family. I don't mock them for not believing in Christ. I pray for them. I don't tell them that because they won't care, because they probably don't believe in the power of prayer. You're so fluent and confident in your talking. Since I was a kid, brother. Since I was a kid. It's one of those gifts that you take for granted. You take it for granted. Same with being confident. You take it for granted. Your health, you take it for granted. So for me, since I was a kid, I was very confident in who I am. I was very confident when I spoke. So that's a gift that God's given me. It's a gift. But sometimes it brought out the worst side in me because I wouldn't stop talking. You've seen me back in the day, I used to do live streams with people. They'd invite me on the show. I never let them talk. It was just me. Like if I was interviewing somebody, I would somehow make the interview about me. I'd bring it back to me. I'd ask a question and I'd answer my own question. It's a weakness that, but in general, my ability to talk or like talk in public, that's a hard gift or hard ability for people to do that. It's just for me, it's just you talking, express yourself, like what you're nervous about. If you're confident in what you're saying, you should have no fear. Your mother also stopped going to church after COVID. A lot of people did. By design. People often think sports people are not smart. It's just like judging every girl with blonde hair and big titties, saying that they're dumb, and they're not. The stereotypes. Is every athlete stupid? No. Are many of them academic? No. Got to remember, when you come through academies, guys, you do very basic education. You're around lads in a boisterous dressing room. All right? You're not going to be talking about philosophy and numerology and the Bible. Come on, lads, let's do it. We've got this. 110%, lads. It's just very basic, low-level communication as an athlete, more often than not. So, and you're not supposed to really open your mouth. You're supposed to do as you're told. Do as your coach tells you. Do as your agent tells you. So, it's not like every athlete is not intelligent. There'll be plenty of them that are gifted. Well, because they didn't go to university. You can go to university and not be smart. You can have a degree and not be very smart. I bet loads of people have gone through uni and had their mates do all the work for them. All right, and then maybe studied for the exams. So yeah, stereotypes are dangerous. How would you rate Wetherspoon's food? Extremely average, great for the price. I'm never going to leave a Wetherspoon's feeling like I've just had fine dining. I don't think I've ever left the Wetherspoon's disappointed. So again, I'll say it again. Very average quality food, great for what you pay. Do you agree? You have to do GCSE maths and English to get through academy. Yeah, and science more often than not as well. I have a twin and our geometry phrases are the same, but we are so different, you will not believe. You can't just judge somebody from their geometry either. We're all different. We're all unique. And we're all same in the sense of we won't be here without God. But yeah, just because you have a similar geometry or even if it's your twin, you're not the same person. You could believe in Christ, your twin could be a Satanist. It's your spirit is what matters. You might be identical physically and be complete opposites in how you see the world. It's your spirit. That's what it comes down to. Adam, it's crazy you lived in 3 countries. Yeah, and my apartment number is number 3. I live at number 3. So yeah, and all the World War III stuff going off. I've told you, I live at number 3. My dad lives at number 11. 311 is when COVID was declared a pandemic. I had my awakening at age 33. And COVID was declared a pandemic when I was 33 years old, 333 days old. That's when I'm like that's the type of stuff where I'm like, I know God's given me this gift. He wants me to be doing this. And he probably just don't want it to consume me. Maybe I should be really just solely focusing on the Bible. But my work's leading people to the Bible at the same time. You can't just preach the Bible to people. I've gone deeper with it now. I've brought so many things into the Bible. I've not changed the Bible or what it stands for. I've not rewritten the Bible. But I've just shown you that these numbers connect to the Bible and they're God's numbers. And he's in control. However crazy the world seems, he's in control. So anyway, your grades prove you have great memory, not intelligence. Yeah. But you can have great memory and not have work. You need work ethic as well, I think. You have to have the discipline to do the homework, to do the assignment. Most of the time in exams, it is if you have a good memory. But there's very few people that can just go to lectures, not make notes, not study them, and just turn up and pass. You might get one person in the class. So academically, within this system, then is memory key? Yeah. You need work ethic. You need concentration. You need to have that discipline to want to pass, to want to excel. I used to teach some unbelievably intelligent kids. They just had no motivation. They didn't want to be there. They didn't see the purpose of it. But if I tested them on the spot, they could just tell me the answers straight up. I'm like, why didn't you write that? And I couldn't be bothered. So it's almost like being an athlete. You can have all these gifts as an athlete. If you don't have that discipline and that fire to grow and be better and compete and prove yourself, ability is just one aspect of it. So as a student, memory, being able to memorize, yeah, crucial. you need more than that to excel at school. You can't just have a good memory. You've got to be paying attention. Do you meditate? No. No, I don't. I always say the best thing school taught me was the discipline to do a task under a certain time, also trained my mind to think quicker, breaking down things. So many amazing things with school. I'm going to be the guy who sits here and tells you that school's a joke and complete control tool. The education system's been infiltrated by man. In general, it's for us to do as we're told and to not have critical thinking. However, school's amazing for socializing, for being around people with different belief systems, different gender, these days, different sexuality, different levels, different upbringings, different socioeconomic status, and you're around them and you've got to interact. Obviously, you get popular kids. Most people are in-betweeners. And then you get a few kids that just hate school. They struggle. They get bullied. They don't want to be there. They struggle in classes. They're not the brightest. But in general, yeah, school, like, they'll give you deadlines. There is a reward for putting in the work. You will fail if you don't. I don't believe there should be homework. My mindset was this. If there is homework, it's for kids who didn't complete their activities in class. If they comprehended it, you've comprehended it. So the extra homework and having them spend 3 hours at home after doing 8 hours at school, I think that's Satan. But they'll say, no, we want these kids to be the best that they possibly can be. No, you're going to burn them out. So yeah, school for me, I loved. I love school, and I'm so grateful that I loved it. I was very fortunate at school that I enjoyed the classes. I enjoyed my teachers. I was the star athlete. I love school. Couple of subjects I didn't want to be there. Couple of teachers I didn't really like. Couple of days I'm like, school's bullshit. Maybe I got in trouble. I used to get thrown out of classes for having a big mouth, for questioning authority. It used to piss me off. But I enjoyed school. I enjoyed it. And that's why one of the reasons I was a teacher. School should teach about finance, should be mandatory. Yeah. And cooking. And gardening. Setting up a bank account, like you said, what it means to take out a loan, interest rates, just business studies in general. What else should you be teaching them at school? Unfortunately, technology now, they have to know how to use it. It just sucks, but they do. You can use your ego and just say, I'm not getting involved with technology. I ain't doing that. Pretty much, you've got to have a basic understanding of technology now, or you'll get left behind, especially in the next few years. School can be boring for people. Again, it's depends on your school. It depends on your teachers. It depends on your relationship with your peers. I was fortunate. I was just fortunate. I had a great set of friends, great group of peers, great teachers. Schools had good reputations. They were always like really close to my house. The after school clubs were fun. I couldn't go to many because I was at Bradford City. I had to go usually straight to training. So I was fortunate with school. I can see why people hate it. I can see why people don't like school. If you lack confidence and you, like I said, you're not the brightest, and you don't like, if you're like an introvert and you don't like being around people, and then you're in a class every day with 25 other kids, It's not easy school for most people. Most people don't like it. They don't want to be there, which is a shame. But I understand it. All right, I better go. I need to figure out if I'm playing tennis. Assembly was amazing. I once got hiccups during assembly and I couldn't stop. I had to leave. It was really embarrassing. Kept hiccuping. I remember when my headmaster, Mr. Valentine, it's funny his name was Mr. Valentine, he got me up at the front and told everyone that he's at Bradford City, he just signed a contract. He passed me a ball. He said, show him what you've got, Adam. And I remember then I was petrified. There was about 500 kids, or maybe less. I don't know how many. He's brought me up. I'm just thinking, all right, didn't tell me he was going to do that. So he brings me up there, unexpected, and then he passes me a ball. I felt like a chimp. I think I didn't even do anything fancy. I just juggled. I think I just juggled about 20 times, caught it, and then threw him the ball. But I remember he put me right on the spot in. But sometimes you need that. Like if I'd have gone up there with ball, just signed for Bradford City, 2-year contract, and tripped over ball, or juggled and did like 3 kick-ups, I would have felt like a right knob. I would have been angry with him. But I knew then, I was like, don't do anything fancy, Adam. Just juggle, because the average kid in the school can't juggle. The girls don't have a clue. They're going to probably think I'm God's gift just from juggling. So keep it simple. Yeah. I'm very lucky at school. I got in trouble a few times though, guys. I was capable of being a real mischievous kid. I had it in me, these impulses sometimes, where I would do things that I shouldn't have done. Nothing too serious. But I was just a joker. Just a joker, guys. I still am. Not as much anymore. A bit more serious now. Bellingham sits down to pee. Did you see his brother, Joe Bellingham, scored on 11-11 against Birmingham, where he spent 11 years? Did you see that one? Joe Bellingham. He spent 11 years playing for Birmingham, and then on 11-11, he scored against them. Most of the stuff you learn in school is nonsense, yes. Yeah, I agree. But again, depends on your teacher, but the curriculum is a joke. But some of it's good. Again, I didn't love the classes. I wasn't super stimulated by what they were teaching me. I just liked being at school. It was like a family. Big family. Interesting, Chris. I've never done one of them, but good for you. Was you a detention? I got detention a few times. It was for my mouth. I got it from my mouth. I'd say things. I'd question teachers. And they'd say things like, say that again, Adam, then you're going to get detention, or you're going to stay in during break time. I'd say it again because I was an ass. Arrogant, cocky ass. But what? Say it again, Adam. Well, we'll say it again then, won't I? All right, detention. And then they do the usual thing of, I'm complaining. If you complain, that'll be 2 days detention. And eventually I'll be like, okay. It was a level where I'd stop. But I don't think I did anything too crazy. I once punched a locker. I was with this guy, the hardest guy in school. I told you he used to come up to me and say something funny, Edders. Say something funny now. That somehow made him laugh. And then one time he went, prove you're hard then. I said, what do you mean prove I'm hard? I thought he'd wanted me to fight him. He Said, me, you, Dave, right now, we're going to go punch some lockers. Why? Because we are. So there were these lockers. Everyone had a locker at school. Put in their books or the bag or PE uniform. I remember Tomo, this ad guy, he just went boom and he like smashed this locker. And then Youngie did it, David Young. All right, your turn now, Edders. So I'm like looking around. I did it. And I got caught. I got caught punching the locker. Smashed it through. My hand was killing me. And that gave me like a week's detention. And my mum screamed at me, "What are you doing punching lockers through? That's vandalism." I was like, "Oh, Tomo did it." And Dave, I have a go at them as well. They're not my son. So yeah, I did some stupid stuff to prove a point, just like a dick. Sure. My detention was usually an hour or whatever the break time was. The worst thing they could do for me was take my break. That was when I played football. If you're going to keep me in and take my break, that was the worst thing they could do. They could take my lunch. I don't give a shit. But when they would take away my break time, my 30, 45 minutes of football, that's where they got me. The one time they stopped me from playing in a game with the school. This was before Bradford City. And they said, "You're not playing." I was gutted. So I think good teachers as well, they also know your weakness. I think they have to know your weakness. They need to know how to push your buttons and motivate you. And they knew with me that my biggest thing was football. If they could take that away from me, they could really piss me off and use it against me. Right, I'm definitely going now. Thanks for watching. Can you hit the like button before I go? Wow, it's 3:04. And I've got to figure out this tennis court now. So God bless you all right? Take care. We all have our stories. None of us are perfect. All right? But it's all part of our journey. You just got to learn. But you can still tell people about the stuff you did. You know what I mean? Don't be ashamed of it. Like, mold you into who you are. It's just, I ain't going to go around punching. If a hard guy comes up to me now and says, "Punch that, prove to me you're hard," say, "Mate, have a word with yourself." I ain't going to do it. 13 years old, I'm going to do it. Hardest guy in school comes up to me. Rumours are going to go around at girls that Edders is hard and a great footballer. Going to be all over me. All I have to do is punch a locker. That was my mindset. It worked. I was a bad boy for about 3 weeks. Then I realised I ain't a bad boy. I didn't want to be. I didn't want that bad boy life at school. I just wanted to be the footballer who was a pretty nice guy who was arrogant. I'll take that. I ain't an hard man. But I ain't soft either. But I'm no Tomo. Right. God bless you all. Take care. Much love, guys. And yeah, lockers don't hit back. Lockers don't hit back. Cheers. God wins. Woo-hoo, baby!